Alright, so this video we're going to talk about power chords. In some of the previous videos that we've learned are songs like Eye of the Tiger or the Batman song. We've done it here on the first string, which I wanted to do because it's a little bit easier and it gets your left hand fingers moving. You know, but like in the intro you'll hear it with the full power chords or something like that. And so I know that a lot of you want to get to that part. So let's talk about that. Then we can take those power chords and apply them to the songs that we've done already and put them towards some of the songs that we're going to do in the future. Now, power chords are used all the time. They're used in blues music. They're used in rock and roll. They are used in pop music. A lot of times when you hear the guitar being played on the radio, they're using power chords, especially if they're using an electric guitar. Now, to be fair, a power chord is not actually a chord. A chord is 3 or more notes, and a power chord is 2. So we've been starting with 1 string, and now we're going to move up to 2 strings. But if you can do power chords in one place, you can do them anywhere. They can work on any fret on the top string, or top 2 strings technically, or any fret on the next 2 down. And you can move them up and down. It's the same format. So let me zoom in and then I'll show you the shape that we make with our hands. And once you can do that, all you have to do is just move them to the right fret to get the right note. Alright, so we're going to start on the 5th fret again because that's a good place to start and because you have a nice little dot there on the top of your guitar. And we are going to do a power chord. It looks and sounds like this. And so let's look at what we're doing here. Because this shape that we're going to do fits everything else. So I'm going to move this finger kind of out of the way so you can see. Because you don't have to have it down here, but we're really just focused on our 1st finger and our 3rd finger. And if you notice, they're on 2 different strings. The 1st finger is on the top string, and our 3rd finger goes down 1. And that's the whole thing. It's kind of like this L-shaped sort of thing. So you go down 1 and over 2. So let me say that again. You go wherever your root note is, that's where your 1st finger is, your main note. You go down 1 string over 2 frets. Down 1 string over 2 frets. Down 1 string over 2 frets. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to put my 1st finger down here. Okay, and that's on the top string. And then my 3rd finger is going to go down 1 string, and then I'm going to count over 1, 2 frets, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay? So if you notice, I'm not touching the same string, and I'm being careful that this finger is not touching this top string, because if it does, it's going to mute it, and as we talked about earlier, you don't want that to happen. So it's going to get a little more complicated because you have to make sure that each finger is only touching 1 string, and that's why we use the tips of our fingers right here, not the flat part of our fingers, because we use the flat part, sometimes we end up hitting a bunch of strings at one time. This is important if you haven't been in the habit yet that you're using the tips of your fingers. And let me show you the little lines here. And as you can see with the lines showing up, you can see that it's on the tip of my finger, not here on the flat part. So again, going back to the 5th fret where the dot is, I'm going to put 1 here, then I'm going to go down 1 string and over 2 frets. Down 1 string and over 2 frets. And you can see this little shape that we're making. Now if I play just these 2 strings, obviously I don't strum here in real life, but just for the video, you get that sound. If you're getting a sound like this, you're probably touching more than 1 string, okay? But we want this sound right here. And once you get that shape, you can move it to any fret that you want, and you're going to get the power chord, and it's going to be the note, the root note. Whatever note this is here, that's what chord it is. So this is an A here on the 5th fret. If I move it to the 3rd fret and keep that same shape, you notice it's still down 1 over 2. And then now I've got a G. And then if I move it to the 1, I've got an F. And those are the notes that we did in our last video. Now I'm going kind of fast, but I wanted to show you that it's just staying in the same shape. If you can kind of lock your hand into this position and play DJ there on the strings, you can put it anywhere. And we can also move down to the next string, which we won't need this for the songs we're doing now, but I just wanted to show you. If you skip the top string and don't play this top string, you can do the same format. You can put your, I'm using the 5th fret again, put your finger on the 2nd string down, which is actually the 5th string, and go over 2 frets, so it's that same shape. You can get that too. Same shape, you can move that around. And like the song Wild Thing, which we may talk about later. Or Louie Louie, it's the same one, that's popular chords. Or doing the blues. As you can see, you can move it anywhere on these 2 strings or these 2 strings. We just keep that same shape. And again, it's 1 string down, 2 strings over, and you've got yourself a power chord. And if you notice on this one, it looks like I'm only playing 1, but look, it's the same pattern. Open and then down on the 2nd fret. So if you're going to play this one, like when you're playing Back in Black, or if we're going to play Smoke on the Water, we're using this one. Now, I know that's not technically the right notes for it, but I like to practice it that way so that we get used to using an open power chord and the other power chords as well. Okay, so let's take what we learned and we can apply it to the other songs. Again, it's 1 string down, 2 strings over, and you're rocking and rolling.